All right, it is 9 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. If you have your cell phones, please mute for the meeting. Becky, would you call roll?
Sure. Jack Scragstead.
Here.
Dean Friel.
Here.
Katie White. Ron Gascoigne.
Here.
Reed Acree.
Here.
Allie Hess.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, I see we have a couple visitors here today. Anything you guys wanted? Make a comment today, or are you just here hanging out with us? You're later on today, I'm assuming? Okay, thank you. Actually, if we had questions, we should have been at the hearings. Okay, I just had to say that again. Anyways, let's continue on. Anybody else here have any comments? All right. Going over the minutes, if everyone had a chance to look over the minutes, any corrections or changes that we need to make to those from February 13th? If not, they will stand as presented. First on the different departments, transportation, solid waste. Dave Anderson, would you like to walk us through the report and the 5 actions that you have on the agenda, please?
Sure. Okay, so just a note on there, we did have a bid letting on Friday. Those results are posted on our website, so you can go get the detailed bid tabs on our website, and you'll actually be voting on the award here coming up under your board actions. You got a summary table there for the minutes, but you want the line item by line item detail on how things were bid out. You can find that on our website. Under the other category, we are done with our NBIS bridge inspections. However, something that's not required, but really I think needs some attention is we are actually inspecting box culverts that are less than a 20-foot clear span. A 20-foot clear span is the delineator between when you have to abide by FHWA bridge inspection standards and when you don't. So those historically have never been looked at because they've never been required to be looked at. So actually Brian is out right now as we speak inspecting a lot of those structures that we have on the county system. There's about roughly 120 of them. We'll know more when we get done. And we're finding some issues. So he gives me a call when he finds something that's of concern. I go look at it and, we'll make some plans to either remediate or replace some of those structures as well. So that's going on. Then just to offer a little explanation on 3 of your board action items and as that relates to the Chicago Road hot mixing job using TARP funds, Truck Access Route Program funds. This is a program that you can apply for through the state of Illinois. It comes open every year. We applied for it really in combination with DeKalb and LaSalle County. They're doing some roads as well that lead into Chicago Road, that leads into our truck route that goes to I-39 interchange. So that I-39 interchange is the logical termini where all these routes sort of converge. So what we get out of that is $90,000 per mile, essentially $45,000 a lane mile, which to us in this case for this project means about close to $146,000. So we'll match that, the remainder of the balance of that project with county matching our locally levied amount. So what you will have is, and at least during the board meeting, there'll have to be a particular order to this. We'll do the appropriation resolution where you're appropriating the county match. Now, you have technically already appropriated the county matching funds via the budgetary process, all right? You did that back in November. However, IDOT wants to see a specific appropriation for this specific project, okay? So we've got that in resolution form. Then we will need to designate that as a Class 2 truck route. There is a standard IDOT resolution form for that. And then we'll need to approve the joint funding agreement. with IDOT. So those are the three action items taken for that piece of Chicago Road. Then in addition to that, go ahead and award the bids on that letting summary. And then there was a late breaking item I had to add at sort of the last minute. When we purchase, well, a number of different things, in this case specifically, we're speaking of our bulk salt quantities. Normally, CMS just throws essentially a spreadsheet out to us. We fill it in with the quantity and locations that we want the salt delivered. This year, they said, oh, you also have to sign this authority to sign for joint purchasing, which you should have in your packet there. And then gave us an April 7th deadline to have the order in. Well, you know, when you start talking about the Open Meetings Act lead times for committee meetings and board meetings, I basically had 24 hours. You know, there was a 24-hour window there to get this in. And so what this, I don't even know if you call it a resolution, but this little agreement that they've drafted up, basically what you're doing, you're giving me the authority to sign the joint purchasing contract for salt. That's what you're doing, which I've done for many, many years, but now you're going to tell CMS that you've given me the authority to do it.
Got to love the state of Illinois.
That's about it.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Boy, a lot of red tape for simple stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Never gets easier.
yeah, great. All right, so let's start with the first thing. Let's do the appropriation resolution for county matching funds. So is there a motion to approve the appropriation resolution for county matching funds to the executive committee for inclusion on the March County Board agenda? Dean Friel first, second by Gascoigne. Any discussion on that?
Hey, Jack, you want to move it, not approve it? Approving it.
Yes, yeah, we want to, for the inclusion on the county board agenda. Right.
You said approve the appropriation. We're just moving it.
Okay, did I say approve? Okay, scratch that. Motion to move.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so any discussion on that? No discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that motion passed. Resolution establishing the Class 2 truck route. Is there a motion to move the resolution establishing a Class 2 truck route to the Executive Committee for inclusion on the March County Board agenda? Ally first, seconded by Dean Friel. Any discussion on that? No discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed. Number 3, joint funding agreement for state participation. Is there a motion to move the joint funding agreement for the state participation in executive committee for the inclusion on the county board agenda? First by Mr. Gascoigne, second by Dean Friel. Any discussion on that? No discussion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Number 4, awarding of bids listed on the attached letting summary. Dave has provided a committee with a list of projects, and I believe they're on the onboard or on the agenda packet. Is there a motion to award the bids presented to the committee subject to the Highway Commissioner's concurrence as applicable to an IDOT review? Mr. Reed first, seconded by Dean Friel. Any no comments? All those in favor said by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed. Is there a motion to move the certificate of authority to the executive committee for inclusion of the March County Board agenda? Ally first, seconded by Mr. Gascoigne. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed as well. Dave, did you have anything on solid waste by chance?
No, nothing other than in a few short weeks, we'll be taking the electronics. And so, and one of the things we're doing to get ready for that is we hire somebody in temporarily. So we've been in contact with Hughes to get a temporary worker to help deal with all the material coming in, so.
Okay. All right. Great. Okay. All right. So any further questions for David on any of those items? Okay. All right. Assessor's office, Jennifer is not here, but Sammy's here.
Yay.
All right.
Morning.
Well, I believe Jennifer did supply us with a report, but Sammy's here for GIS.
Yeah, Jennifer is out of the office today. Good morning, everyone. I'm here with Logan Griswold, the new GIS technician. In the GIS department, Logan and I have been working on adding new tools to the Parcel Viewer web app and creating an interactive dashboard to visualize trends in assessed values, average sales and sales ratio, to provide valuable insights to GIS data and streamline the assessor's office workflow. Also been working on processing the parcel splits and combination requests for January 2024, and also maintaining and updating land use, zoning, and other GIS layers, responding to several map printing and scanning requests, maintaining and updating the 911 Flex map with the most recent information provided by the 911 Center. Also have been working on preparing the municipalities' boundary updates and responding to the U.S. Census Bureau Boundary and Annexation Survey BAS form. That's all I have. Please let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions for Sammy? Okay, great. Thank you, Sammy.
Thank you.
Jeremy, County Board, you got anything to like to share with us?
Real quickly on, from the assessor's side, as it states in your on board, the 2023 tax roll has rolled over, and now it's over in the extension office and being processed there. So they are, put a lot of work into that, and now, the clerk's office is going to be putting a lot of work into doing their side of it, as well as now they're starting to work on 2024 on putting in all their the deed transfers, the exemptions, and the assessments. So they had a lot of stuff primed for that, and now they're starting to actually be able to input that into the system. A thing to note, they did have the Board of Review has finally adjourned. They had 77 parcels that originally appealed. And then they were able to do the Board of Hearings or the Board of Review, and they actually reviewed 20 parcels out of the 77 that, originally appealed. So a lot of effort and a lot of work went into that Board of Review process. So I just want to thank the assessment office and then the Board of Review folks as well, because they put a lot of time in this year. From the county board's perspective, we're just continuing to work with the different departments on their operational capacities throughout the month. Right now Greg will be reporting on the definitive agreement and the IGA that's being moved to executive committee from lots. And there was a lot of time that was put into that and getting that process from the state's attorney's office to, lots and the city team, or not the city team, I'm sorry, but his council and their actual RMTD board. So I just wanted to say I appreciate all the time and effort that's gone into that, and hopefully we can get that resolved here in the next coming months. I think we're just waiting on a few things from IDOT. So other than that, things are going really well. Between the different departments, we started doing a handful of interdepartment discussions, trying to bring departments together to work on workflow efficiencies specific to our services that we work on within our for our constituents. So continuing to have and evolve those conversations to see how we can work better between the departments, as a lot of our departments have different pieces of different aspects of operations. So it's going to be step by step. We're going to get a little bit better, a little bit more communicative, and work on some of those process efficiencies. So it's been quite a bit of fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of these departments, especially in this building, they all work together, you know, whether it be taxes, treasurer, you know, assessor's office, all that works together. Same thing with over on the other side. Everything over there is court related, you know, even the sheriff's department, the probation, they all have the same, they're all mingled together, but yet they're all different departments with different duties, but they all have to come out with the same purpose. So I appreciate the work on you guys having to do, or trying to really work together on and accomplishing a goal.
Thanks. One last thing, we did finally launch our archive social. So, you know, one of the tasks that you had presented to me was getting, you know, our social media presence on, you know, up and running. It is up and running. Haven't posted anything yet. We're trying to wait for the you know, most opportune time to do so. But in lieu of that, when we looked at not having any sort of policy in place for that, we did, you know, move that forward in January. And then one of the pieces was making sure that we had an archive system in place for any of our online medias, whether that's any social platform as well as any website platform. That did start on March 1st. So it is, you know, downloading everything historically from all the county's social media platforms from every department, as well as anything moving forward. So when there's a FOIA request that comes in, we have access to that now. And actually, there's going to be a tool on our website where the public will be able to just do their own FOIA requests if it's in regard to any online media. And then it'll pop up within that archive and it'll, you know, give them what they're looking for.
That's
Yeah.
good. That makes it a lot easier for the public to access that. Is it possible that you can email, you know, board members or whatever? Because the idea, in order to, if I understand Facebook, is to get followers or likes or whatever, to get it published or popped up a little more often. Is there a way? Because I looked for it the other day, I couldn't find it.
That's because nothing's posted on it yet, so I don't actually have it live, our
Okay.
general.
Okay.
It's ready to go. We just haven't done anything with it yet. So my goal was to make sure the archive system was up and running and operating the way we wanted it to.
Right.
And it is now.
Okay.
And that's when, you know, I figured we could go live and have some, you know, post a handful of pieces. So, you know, my thing is I'd like to, you know, probably post something again about the election, you know, upcoming, as well as once we actually have a finite date on our elevator scenario, that's probably going to be posted on there. And it's just going to be, again, a public service.
Sure. Yeah. As soon as we get something up there, I'd like to try and share it and get other county board members. And then, you know, kind of like what we did with the sheriff's department years back, you know, it just took a little bit. Now we've got a good following.
Yep. Just got to create the brand.
But that'll kind of lead us into Nancy's report. She's again looking for election judges. She's definitely going to need them. I don't know if it's too late to get election judges now for the couple-week year primary, but I think she'll definitely need some help in the general. So, but I'll leave that to her. Nancy, your report.
Thank you, Jack. Good morning. To continue with that, yes, we're always looking for those judges, and they can receive booklets and training as soon as the day before election. So basically, we're rolling really busy in the election department. We do have over almost 400 early voters, which is pretty high for Lee County, considering we've reached out to other counties and they have 100 to 150 early voters. So that still goes on from 8:15 to 4:15. And then this Saturday, we are open 9 to noon for our one Saturday before election. And the other note is, if you have not received one of those lovely yellow pieces of paper, which is the economic interest, please reach out to the election department. We can get one of those printed off for you. And that's all I have.
Okay, thanks. Any questions for Nancy? Okay, all right. IT department, Paul is not here today, although his report is in the agenda. So I don't know if anyone's got questions on that. Maybe Jeremy could answer those. Maybe.
Yep. Again, Paul and the IT department have been very busy lately. As you could look through their reports, they were working in the LEC, completing and updating the body cam network. The facilities, Jeff's team was also involved with that. So a lot of, again, interdepartmental work together. They've been doing really well. They're working on a lot in the new court system, as well as upcoming the new courts won an IT grant that we received in 2022. Now we have one in 2024. So that's going to be a lot of work really fast between the facilities department, IT department, and all the departments that are over in the new court system. And that's over $1 million, right, Charlie? Yep. So they got a lot going on. They also have a temp, Travis Knoll, that started on March 6th through BEST. We've utilized BEST here in our facilities a handful of times, and it's a great partnership. So if you see a new face around, please say hi. It's Travis Knoll, and he's a fantastic guy and has a lot of background. He came from Morrison Institute of Technology.
Okay, awesome. All right. Lots, great. Would you like to share the committee with your report?
Yes, thank you, Jack. Report should be in front of the committee members. In terms of just starting off the report with some of the key highlights, the rolling 3-month ride data, as you can see, the ridership is continuing to go upward, trend upward. I think so far, just looking at estimates for what we anticipate for the rest of this fiscal year versus what we had for last year is roughly a 12% increase in terms of ridership. Right now, we're trending towards a total amount for the fiscal year, July 1 through June 30, of just over 91,000 rides provided, 25,000 service hours, 740,000 miles of service, and most likely fuel costs that will be around $250,000. But as you can see for February's data, 8,100 rides, 2,400 hours of service, 69,000 miles, and $28,426 worth of fuel costs overall. As Jeremy mentioned, coming to the county board here in Lee County, as well as the county board in Ogle County this month, will be that definitive agreement, which basically outlines the transition of assets to the Reagan Mass Transit District. It's been reviewed by both state's attorney's office in Lee County as well as in Ogle County. And as Jeremy also mentioned, IDOT admin team is also currently giving their final look at that document for any potential changes. We are currently in the process of working on FY 2025 budget and applications for July 1, 2024 through June 30 of 2025. You'll see some upticks in some of the funding stream pieces. Most notably, there was a 20% increase in the DOBE contract to $1.867 million for the next fiscal. Working with rural, or I should say with Winnebago County Board, currently on the provision of rural transit services starting on July 1st. So it's going to be a busy time the next quarter or so. Finalizing an intergovernmental agreement, also working on some other pieces of just that transition in general. Have a meeting next week with the County Board Finance Committee to go over some of those specifics. As this committee is made aware of previously, we're working on a couple of feasibility studies, both here in Dixon as well as in Rochelle, looking at the feasibility of constructing, developing fixed routes for both of those communities. And I believe for the most part, other than just a reminder that we are getting some new vehicles in, and hopefully that production cycle will continue to move forward. And keeping my fingers crossed, it's not 15 months to 18 months in length before we get any of those vehicles. But we've been very fortunate in recent months to get some transfers within IDOT, other grantees that were not using some of their vehicle supply. So Jack, unless there's any questions, that's all I have.
All right. Any questions for Greg? Again, great report, good information. So, all right. I see Mr. Tennyson is not here, but his report is in the agenda packet. I'm sure you could reach out to him if you had any questions on that. A lot of great stuff in there as well this month. So Jim Gorman, he is not here for Veterans Affairs, which then brings us to Alice, zoning. Would you like to walk us through your report?
Good morning. Actions coming from the Zoning Board of Appeals include the petition on Stewart Creek Solar. This hearing wrapped up this past Wednesday night. And given the turnaround time, that's why you're receiving some of these documents this morning, specifically the report of finding of facts and the proposed resolution for this project. We are looking at going with a new format for the resolution. That is that thicker document that I just laid before you. Instead of the simple format we had before, this new format would include multiple aspects of the hearing and what was approved into one document. One of the problems my office is having is being able to go backwards and find out what happened with projects in the past, what conditions were approved, what recommendations were made, and so on. So in trying to evolve our process, I am proposing this new form of resolution for the Stewart Creek project. Given the timeliness of receiving these documents, if you guys would feel more comfortable moving this on to executive, I understand that as well. Actions going to the Zoning Board of Appeals next month will be petition 24P 1623 by petitioner Irish Eyes Farm LLC. This project is also known as Woosung Solar. They came before the county last fall and were denied, and they are now repetitioning. Same parcels, same size project. They're just looking to see if they can comply with our ordinance this time around. There are no actions coming from the Planning Commission. Actions going to the Planning Commission is petition number 24 PC 75 by the Lee County Zoning Office. This is a petition to amend the text of Chapter 5, Residential Districts, Article B, Single Family Residential District, Section 6, Restrictions under Title 10, Zoning Regulations of the Lee County Code of Ordinances. The proposed text amendment would create regulations for the limited raising, housing, and/or keeping of chickens in the R2 Single Family District. This is a topic that keeps coming around the zoning office. Since COVID, we've been seeing more and more people wanting to raise their own chickens for the purpose of having their own eggs. This use is currently going on in the R2 districts. We're looking to potentially add some regulations that would give the county some control. And ideally, we are looking to mimic what the city of Dixon has in place for chickens, which would be a limit of 6 hens, no roosters. They would have to keep the property clean of any waste. They would have to keep the chickens would not be allowed in the front yard. They'd have to maintain the residential characteristics of the property. And penalties would include potential removing of the chickens as well as potential fines. Other actions from the zoning office. My deputy zoning administrator, Laura Mangrum, is currently in Maryland. She is attending the FEMA Emergency Management Institute in preparation of her certified floodplain manager exam. She'll be out there all week this week and will be attending the Managing Floodplain Development through the National Floodplain Insurance Program. This is considered the gold standard of floodplain training. The course is free, and Laura was awarded a scholarship that will reimburse her airfare for the trip. Her room was also free, as she'll be staying on campus. On Monday, March 18th, Laura will take her exam in Naperville. It is intensive, closed book exam. However, the results are instant, and I do wish her the best. On March 22nd, 2024, the zoning office will have its first visit from the National Floodplain Insurance Program. This visit is the first step for Lee County entering the Community Rating System program, and they will be reviewing building permits that will be reviewing building permits that have been issued for properties located in the floodplain. The CRS program allows a community to earn points for going above and beyond the minimum floodplain regulations. As the county earns points, it will move up a level. The lowest level is 0 and the highest level is 10. Every time the county moves up a level, the residents of unincorporated Lee County will see a 5% reduction in their flood insurance premiums. At the highest level, residents can see a 45% reduction. During the month of February, the zoning office processed 24 building permits. 7 of those permits were residential solar, 1 fence permit, 3 ag permits, 5 wood haven permits, and 5 building permits for accessory structures, and 3 building permits for cell tower alterations. Permit fees in the amount of $6,110.18 were collected. Not on my report, and this kind of came apparent to me during our recent hearing on Stewart Creek Solar, is the issue of battery storage. Currently, Lee County is under moratorium for standalone battery energy storage projects. When the state came through last year and introduced their new siting standards for wind and solar, their definition allows for battery energy storage as an accessory to a wind or solar project. So if a project comes through, like a wind and solar, and they have accessory battery storage, that is allowed under the code. If a standalone battery energy storage project came into the county to petition at this time, they would not be able to do so due to the moratorium. So I just want to clarify that for the board members. Is there any questions?
Did you attend that meeting about the battery storage yet? Is that coming up?
It's in April 19th.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, any questions for Alice before we get into these agenda items?
I did overlook the board action item that I presented.
If you want to start with the, well, yeah, you want to go ahead and go on that, then if you want.
Okay, and just to let you know, we're looking to revise the current building permit. We're would like to add a line for the maximum height of the structure. Additionally, for our work towards this community rating system and floodplain compliance, we're looking to add the FEMA form for floodplain building permits as part of our permit. On the first page of our building permit application, it asks, is the parcel in the floodplain? There would be a space to check yes or no, and if yes, they would have to complete the floodplain building permit. This would ensure that we are meeting the standards that are required to be part of that National Floodplain Insurance Program, and will assist in our community rating system program. The other items that have been amended on this permit, we're adding a fee for transmission line poles, $25 a foot. That would be the same as what we charge for meteorological towers. And this is in line with the county has previously charged for transmission line poles. I would just like it added to our form. And then we also included battery or energy storage under the commercial power generation for the fee structure.
Okay, I don't see those on my action items for today. Is that?
Did you not receive the?
I don't have it on the agenda, Alice. Was it?
We don't have those, I don't have
Okay,
that.
then that's my fault. I must not have forwarded it to you.
Well,
Yeah.
let me look. I didn't catch it if you did, so.
We have the petitions is all we
Okay.
have to go
Okay.
on that. But
That's fine.
definitely let's, is that something that we could get at least by the executive
We can.
to at
edit
least
it.
then have it? And then you can talk about it during the executive committee or something, if you can have that ready to go.
Sure.
So that way it's not lost. We don't have to wait for it, so. Because that's what we would do. We would move it to the executive anyway, so. Okay, so there's one petition going to the zoning board of appeals. Is there a motion to move petition 24P 1623 to the executive committee for inclusion on the March County Board agenda? First by Dean Friel, seconded by Mr. Reed. Any discussion on that? And all the parcels are listed as well. There's a ton of them in the document. So any discussions on that? All right, no discussion. All those in favor of moving it, signify saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. All right, there's one petition coming from the Zoning Board of Appeals. Petition 23P 1617 by Stewart Creek Solar. Pins are also listed on the agenda packet. So is there a motion to move petition 24P 1617 along with the proposed resolution for the same petition to the executive committee for inclusion on the March County Board agenda? First by Dean Friel, seconded by Mr. Reed. Any discussion on that? All those in favor signify saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. There's one petition going to the Planning Commission. Is there a motion to move petition 24P-75 to the Executive Committee for inclusion on the March County Board agenda? First by Dean, seconded by Ally. Us. Any discussion on that?
I do.
Go
I
ahead.
just wanted to ask Alice, it just kind of where, I mean, petition shows when the hearing dates are. There are letters going out to the villages that would pertain to R2.
Yes. Depending on if this moves forward, then yes, then I'll start notifying people. And I just kind of wanted to make sure it goes through here before I start that process. But I would be looking to send notification to the townships, informing them of the date of the public hearing so that if they wish to come in and comment, they can do so.
Yeah, it's important for people to go to those hearings so they can voice their opinions during that time period. So, all right. Any other questions? All right, any other discussion? All those in favor of this, signify saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Hey, Jack.
Yes.
Alice, that was in the email and I completely missed it. So we'll get it on executive, but that was my fault. So I missed it.
Okay. All right, there's no petitions coming from the Planning Commission. There's nothing listed for unfinished or new business. Does it
Yeah,
matter?
so one last thing that I did not mention in the report earlier. Our Broadband Breakthrough Initiative Committee met, the focus group met virtually last Wednesday. We have another meeting tomorrow and kind of got things going. Again, that's the initiative with the Benton Institute of Technology and Broadband, the Illinois Soybean Association, U of I Extension, and a handful of other partners, as well as 5 other counties. And the purpose of that is to bring a broad cohort together from each county and to create a broadband action plan and hopefully try to, get ourselves in a position again to capture some of the, over $1 billion of broadband infrastructure monies that are coming to the state. And whether that's going to be a full infrastructure initiative across the entire county or having a stage schedule plan, that's kind of part of what we're going to be working on. Tomorrow, we're going to be working on the creation of a full countywide survey that we're going to get out to make sure that we have our residents participating in their needs. Logan, Sammy, Allie, Jack, you all are involved in the cohort. I'd like to have Logan say a little bit about his experience with it because he was really excited when I talked to him. And since you haven't talked in a committee meeting yet, wouldn't it be the right time for you?
I think so. Make sure that green light's on there, Logan, so we can hear you good.
Hello, I'm Logan Griswold. I introduced myself over the summer as I was interning here, but I'm now a full-time GIS technician under Sammy. And I was talking to Jeremy about how excited I am for the broadband project because for me, I've never worked on something as large of a scale as this. And there's so many teams and people coming together that I think it's like just a really good step for my career and also just a good project to have a bunch of teams work together and like achieve something that's not capable of being done like in a small group, but since there's so many of us, that's like possible. So
It's good to hear that from a young man like that,
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fun when I went down there and I just saw his excitement. Just, I was like, can I have a piece of it?
Who'd get excited about that? I mean, when I was your age, we ain't gonna go there. So, but that's just awesome, Logan, that, because it can be contagious, your excitement. So, I'm looking forward to that. So, all right. Anything else?
No, well, so on that, we also have the the Lee County Farm Bureau involved in our cohort. And Ashley is going to be reaching out to folks within her organization to get involved as well. So, we need more ag presence. So if anybody wants to get involved from the ag side, please let me know. And we'll continue to build from there. But the more the merrier. The more people we have involved, the bigger and greater impact I think we're going to have. So thanks.
All right. Anything else other than I was not the former mayor of Amboy? I was not. I just wanted to say that publicly.
Is that future?
No, not future either. All right. All right. With that said, anything else? Is there a motion to adjourn? First by Mr. Gascoigne, second by Mr. Friel. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, guys. My God, 45 minutes, 44 minutes. That's a record.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, that was unbelievable. Somebody would do that.
No, yeah.